You had to wait a wee bit longer than I anticipated this evening, but we're here. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Suppose it's a welcome back for me as well. I'm back from a holiday. I don't know if you can call a 2-day trip a holiday as much, but it was a holiday. It was a break, well needed trip away from this place. You know, not that I don't like Glasgow, I love it here, but it's nice to just break up time a little bit, do something a little more exciting. So in case you didn't know, the reason there was no videos on the channel, in case you missed that being said on the channel, I was gone. I was in the Netherlands. I was in Eindhoven for the weekend. So there was no videos, as you noticed, from Friday onwards. I can't even remember when my last video was. I think it might have been Wednesday night. Now that I think about it, it could have been. But yeah, I had a few days off. I went over there. I watched a different game of football. I did catch bits and bobs of Celtic versus Morton, and I've came back to watch what I had to watch as well. But we were at PSV versus Vitesse on Saturday night in the Philips Stadion. And it was good. I enjoyed it. It was like a good experience. I love going abroad and seeing these different venues, these different stadiums, and seeing how different it is to Celtic Park, and seeing the different leagues, because the Eredivisie is of course one of these leagues that, you know, the quality is probably significantly better than the Scottish Premiership. So, you know, if I don't think any of the teams would beat Celtic right enough. I mean, if Rangers can beat PSV, then Celtic certainly can. But it was a good game of football. I enjoyed it. It was fun. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back here now as well. Instead of, you know, not doing instead of doing a video today, I decided I'll go live tonight. Plus, I was busy today, so I decided I'll go live. I'll kind of catch up on everything, because we've missed a hell of a lot, haven't we? What a weekend to go away, to say the least, because so much has happened. Not only of Celtic through to the next round of the Scottish Cup. Not only did we see victory against Morton on Saturday, but Josip Juranović has left the club. We are close to making our next signing in the January transfer window. And obviously there's a couple of other things to talk about as well. So it's been a really busy weekend. I choose the time to go away when there's so much to talk about. And I thought, what's the best way to do it? The best way is to sit here and talk to you guys, rather than just doing a video where you know you don't really get a say. We'll get all your comments up. So hello to everybody in the chat. I can see just now a lot of the regulars in here, names that I see quite regularly. It's good to see you. We'll get all your points and questions taken on board as the stream goes on. We'll probably be on for a little bit longer than usual tonight, because there is so much to talk about. Then I want to obviously get your questions out of the way, but ultimately I'm just glad to be back. That's the main thing. So yes, right. Okay, I guess we start then with what I think is the suitable place to start, and I've prepared a couple of wee graphics for this stream, so don't worry. Start with the departure of Josip Juranović. He is of course gone. He has left Celtic. We'll talk about all the details of the transfer in a moment, but he posted on Instagram when he left the club on, was it Sunday or Saturday? Can't remember what day it was now, but what can I say? What a memorable 18 months. My family and I will always remember every part of that journey. Thank you for making this a special time for us, sharing the dressing room with so many amazing teammates, and the short period of time was unforgettable. It was my pleasure working with the manager, coaches and staff members. Big thanks to the fans. Each and every one of you made me feel special. Fireball will always be close to my heart. Glasgow will always be green and white. Once a Celt, always a Celt. It's a sad, sad time, isn't it, to lose someone like Josip Juranović. And say what you want, everybody will have their opinions on Juranović, and the fact that maybe this season he hasn't been the same player as what he was last season. But he was an unbelievable talent, and it was an absolute pleasure to have him at the club for the last 18 months. A player of true quality. And you know, we've been lucky. We've been blessed with really good fullbacks over the last few years. You know, Kieran Tierney, Mikael Lustig. We've now got Greg Taylor, of course. We've had some really good fullbacks, but Juranović was real quality. And he showed that at both a level for us at Celtic, domestically, on the European stage in the Europa League last season. And he showed it for us, as well in international football. Look at the World Cup he had. Unbelievable. This was an undeniable talent that Celtic had their hands on. And one that, you know, had to go, had to move on. He had to spread his wings a little bit and fly off. It's probably his last big chance as a football player. At 28 years of age, you know, I'm not saying the decline starts now, but certainly the chances start to dry up. You know, like, we know what football runs like now. There's Frimpong as well. Jamie's pointed out Frimpong in the chat. Completely forgot about Jeremy Frimpong. But when you get to the age of, you know, 28, 29, you know, you get a very, you know, limited amount of time left in your career to make it at the highest level. And he's pursued a move which is one of the highest level. I'm chuffed for him. He deserves it. He's worked really hard for it, and now is the time for both parties to strike on that opportunity. Both Celtic and a business aspect, and then of course for him as a player, it was probably just about right. Of course, Alistair Johnston's came in. We have prepared for this. I'm glad we've prepared for this as well. And you know, I don't think we'll lose too much with Juranović now gone, because we've brought in someone like Johnston. We are losing a player of significant quality, but we've replaced him well. We've probably replaced him in the best fashion that we could have. So it goes with all my best wishes. Quickly, thank you very much for the donation. It's your birthday, and you've gave me a £5. It should be me giving you a £5, Blake. Terrible. I feel bad. Yes, happy birthday, my man. I appreciate it. Just turned 35 yesterday, and someone has already invited me to play senior football. That's how football works now, isn't it? 35, and that's you done. That's you finished. Happy birthday, my man. I hope you have an absolute belter, and I appreciate the donation. It means a lot. So let's talk about the Juranović deal, and I will get you all involved with the stream as it goes on. So the details of the transfer as follow. It's a signing that has been completed with the value that could rise to £10 million for the club. The initial fee is £7.5 million with add-ons, which I imagine will be through stuff like appearances and stuff like that. So there is a potential of a £10 million income here for Celtic, but 7.5 initially, which is good money when you think about the fact that Johnston's came in for about 3.5. You know, you're looking at pretty good spending, I would say. And we've made profit. We signed Juranović for what, £2.5–3 million. So we have made profit. I think we would all have liked a lot more money. You know, we all floated around that number of 15 million, 20 million pounds if it was possible. But then when you've seen that clubs like Chelsea, Barcelona, Atletico, these clubs who were apparently looking at him weren't striking on it, it was going to become hard to see a fee like that. I'm actually very surprised that Union Berlin have paid as much money for him. But it's a really good move for him. It's an incredibly good move for him. Union Berlin right now are flying. They're 5 points behind Bayern Munich in what could be a title race. They're third place in the table right now, joint second technically. They've had a really good couple of years. They've been flying since they've been promoted to the Bundesliga. They have a viable shot at a treble this season, and that's not over exaggerating. They do have it. I don't think they'll do it. I don't think they'll win the league. Bayern will probably go on to win it. That's always an eventuality in the Bundesliga. But the fact that they're challenging so high, the fact they're sitting third in the Bundesliga, they're in the last 16 of the Pokal as well, and they've got the chance of winning the Europa League. This is an incredibly good move for Josip Juranović, and it's probably one of the best that he could have found. They're a club that are on a constant rise at the moment. There's been a great progression. The fans are fantastic. It's a really good community club. He's probably found himself one of the better moves he could have this transfer window. I think that this is a move that if he goes there and he plays as good as we know he can play, you know, how good he's been for both Croatia and for Celtic, you know, he can be a mainstay in this team for for Berlin for the next, you know, 4 or 5 years. It could be. You know, if he went to a Chelsea, if he went to Atletico, if he went to Barcelona, these are clubs that are always just going to sign, and there's a chance that he could have faded into some sort of obscurity, which is possible at any club really, but I think there's less of a chance of that happening at Union Berlin. I'm buzzing for him. I'm looking forward to watch them in the Bundesliga and see what he can do. But yeah, I think that Celtic have got a good bit of money out of this. I think he's gave us some really good moments. He's contributed a lot to this team, and he was a real integral part of that side last season, which went on and won the league when all the world was against us and it was impossible and we couldn't win the league. Yada yada yada. Juranović. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. I must be going to be angry later. You know, he was a real integral part of that, and he's worked his arse off for this. So fair play to him. Let's see what else is. Let's see, with JJ gone and a few games in. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. What's happening here? So, what's been said here from Colin, with JJ gone and a few games in, how do you feel that Alistair Johnston has done? I've liked Johnston so far. I must admit, I think he's been a really good signing so far. I think that he's came in, he's done a good job, and he's only going to get better. Look, listen, this is a guy who's obviously coming in a situation where he's got big boots to fill. He's had quite a good reputation behind him from the World Cup that he wants to carry on, and what we have expectation-wise of him. But, you know, the biggest test he's had so far is Rangers at Ibrox, and he done well in that game. Every other game, you know, it's going to be hard to judge how good he will be. I think that, we've got to wait and just get all these big games out and done the way. But, listen, I'm happy with him. I think he's the perfect replacement, and we said that when we signed him as well. So, I mean, apparently Aberdeen are having a stinker. The last time I checked, at half-time, they were losing to Darvel. They still, surely Goodwin's gone tomorrow. They can't stick with him after that. Even if Aberdeen going to win this game tonight, I don't see any way back. AJ needs to work on his crossing into the box. Solid, though. Yeah. I can see that, to be fair. I can see that. Let's see what else has been saying. Prefer Ralston to Johnson. Wow, okay. Ralston's good backup, but that's it. Of course, we're lucky. We're in a good position. We are in a really good position. And people, there's no point in coming out with any... Yes, I've got my glasses off. I know, how different do I look, yes. There's no point in having, I think, a very committed opinion to either side of Alistair Johnston right now. Like, I see people there, like, he's not as good as Ralston or people, but he's barely played, man. Like, he's not even been here a month. He really has been technically, but he's not even played a month. Like, he's been registered as a Celtic player for 23 days. So, it's going to take a lot of adjusting for Alistair Johnston moving over from the MLS, and we're just going to have to see how it goes. But I've been happy with his introduction to Celtic so far. So, yeah. But that's that, isn't it? Josip Juranović is gone. He is away. Very, very sad. But life goes on, and I'm sure that we will survive without the man himself, which is, of course... Josip Juranović. Anyway, let's move on to our second story. Let's talk about something more exciting in regards to future Celtic players. Let's get this up on screen. Transfer news, it was broke from Sky Sports yesterday and a few other articles from around the world, including South Korea, of course, reporting that Celtic have agreed a £2.5 million fee for Hyeon Gyu. Hyeon Gyu. Is what we're going to refer to. Do you know what? It's really weird. Just very quickly. I can't imagine referring to a player as O. It just sounds weird, doesn't it? O. It's like M from James Bond. But O. But we're going to have to get used to it because he could be on the road to Celtic Park. As Sky Sports reported, the striker currently plays for South Korean side Suwon Blue Wings, but is close to finalising a move. Forward Georgios Giacomakis is expected to leave Parkhead this month. Celtic hold a 9-point lead at the top of the Premiership. We don't really need that part. We know that. They're 9 points coming over. But yes, apparently Celtic have agreed a £2.5 million deal for Hyeon Gyu. Oh, thank you very much, Callum, for the 89 super sticker. It is appreciated. So yeah, all the talks here, there's been rumours, there's been photos, there's been circulation that O is in Glasgow. He's been here, he's had talks, he's held contract negotiations with the club. This is the point where I would say, as someone who always warns you, I'm not in the know. I don't claim to be in the know. I never will be in the know, I guess. And if I ever am, then I'll be honest about it. But I'm not in the O. In the O, getting used to saying his name too much now, in the know. So all I can say is sit tight now. I think this is one that will happen, but we're just going to have to be patient over the next couple of days. Of course, it's not as simple. It's just, agreeing that and getting them in the door. There's work permits to go through, regulations, all the rest of it. We are signing someone from a different continent, let alone a different country. The South Korean league is going to be an interesting one. I'm looking forward to this. Of course, this also follows the sort of fallout from the Cho Gi-sung transfer saga, which looks to have fallen flat on its face. And we spoke about that in the last podcast. I think it was maybe time to give up on Cho Gi-sung. And now we've obviously moved on to Hyeon Gyu. And once again, a player I don't know a hell of a lot about. I've never watched him. I must be completely honest with you. But someone who looks really exciting. Only 21 years of age. He's younger than me. I can't believe I'm at this point where everybody's younger than me. It's fucking sad. I'm 23 in March. I suppose 21 and 22 in April. But it looks as though he could be the guy who's coming in. Celtic, £2.5 million, relatively big fee. Considering we don't really know what's happening with Giakoumakis yet. Now I see a lot of people in the chat say that Giakoumakis, I'd love him to stay. I would love Giakoumakis to stay as well, but I think the eventuality that we need to be prepared for now is that he will leave the club, and we need to have someone signing and coming in that's going to replace Georgios Giakoumakis, someone who's going to come in and obviously fill that role of the backup striker almost. I don't like calling Giakoumakis a backup, but he kind of is, isn't he? He's kind of, he is the backup. Kyogo's the first choice. He's the guy that's been starting week in, week out. And we can't go the rest of the season with one striker. That's dangerous. That would be stupid of us. It would be ill-prepared of us to try and end the season with one striker. We know that Kyogo's had lengthy injuries in the past, and if any was to come up again, then Dyson Maeda can technically play up front, and I'm sure players like Haksabanovic or even some of the other wingers could do a job, but that's not how we want to do things. We want to stick to what we know, and if we can bring someone in and we can ebb them into this team for the next few months and we can get them prepared to take that role, that's very good. In 21, there's a lot of breathing room there in terms of development, isn't there? This is someone who's going to have a long time and an opportunity to try and improve here at Celtic and maybe try and stake a place as the automatic Kyogo replacement. Kyogo's turned 28 years old. He's a little bit older as well. I think he can still go for years, to be honest, as number one. But if the time does come where Kyogo moves on, or he starts to fade a little bit, then you obviously want to have somebody who can maybe come in and do the role he does, and that could be the case with Hyeon Gyu. Very different players, I've been led to believe, but once again, a striker is a striker at some point, and you just need goals. So I've got his profile up on Transfermarkt just to aid me a little bit. I'm going to bring it on screen for you all. Just to aid me a tad, because obviously I don't know a hell of a lot about him, but this is his profile here. I'm going to do more research throughout the week as to, into the player and all the rest of it, and talk on YouTube more about him in a manner that probably suggests that I actually have more of a clue. But this is kind of everything you need to know about him. He has been playing for the Canadian under-23 national side, where he's made 4 appearances. Valued at 550 grand. Celtic, of course, paying $2.5 million, but it doesn't really have much. So, have much meaning, the transfer market valuations. So this is his career basically so far. If you like, at Blue Wings, he's played 53 times, scoring 14 goals. And his club before that, Gimcheon Sangmu, he played 40 times, scoring 9 goals, obviously deployed mainly as a centre forward. In the K-League Premier Division, the top division, he's played 45 games, scoring 13, which of course 11 of them came last season in the 2022 campaign for Suwon Blue Wings. Looks as though he knows how to get in about his goals. This is a decent, for someone who's 21, you're looking at a decent sort of takeaway, a decent sort of career thus far, I would say. And he has had a lot of praise. A lot of people, I think even Son Heung-min of Spurs, he came out and kind of praised him at one point in the media. I was reading something about that earlier. But this is just a kind of scroll through his profile to show you a little bit about him. He has actually made his debut for the South Korean national team. There you go. He's made one appearance. November 11th, 20. Was that the World Cup? Did he play the World Cup? Oh, lovely. That's nice. Good for him. But yeah, you're looking at a player that I think could be very, very good. And I'm looking forward to it. Of course, we've had a lot of success so far within that transfer market over in Asia. And I think that could carry on with the signing of a lot of people I think are going to hold a little bit of animosity surrounding O. Why? Because I don't know if people are ready to accept him as the kind of the Giakoumakis replacement. And I say that for one reason. I think that I think people were really optimistic and had their hopes set on Cho Gi-sung, and people looked at him as the replacement. And that's fell through. So I think now everybody's like, okay, I'd rather just GG stayed. So it's a weird one. I would love GG to stay, to be honest, but I'm looking forward to seeing if he does come in. Thank you once again, Callum, for the super sticker donation. I appreciate that. So he was on the Glasgow Tinder, according to my sister. Fair. I'm sure it wasn't a fake account. I'm sure it wasn't. We'll see. But apparently he is in Glasgow. Apparently he's here. If he's on Tinder already, fuck me, he's a shagger and a half, isn't he? But aye, that's basically the two big stories for the weekend that I've missed. I mean, I want to see more thoughts from the chat on and what we're thinking here. The thing about Giakoumakis is that he doesn't press nearly as well as Kyogo, and pressing is the number one thing for Ange. Off topic, but surely no one would be desperate enough to take that Aberdeen job. Well, that's another talking point for maybe the end of the video. We might come back to that because there's 15 minutes left, I think, in that game. And if Darvel knock Aberdeen out the cup, that is huge. I kind of want to wrap up this stream for like the last 5 minutes or so I can watch them get knocked out the cup with my own eyes. What's the next market we should... Oh, okay, hold on. My computer done something there. What's the next market we should tap into? Sweden for me or Croatia? These type of countries, not Ange's style, but love the physicality of the boys. I would love to see a lot of players coming down from like the kind of the Baltic market, the Sweden, Norwegian, but like we are doing well. We're tapping in the right places. We know that. So we just have to wait and see. But aye. There you go. Hyeon Gyu, £2.5 million. Looks as though he's going to be the Giakoumakis replacement. We've yet to really hear exactly. So this is a point I want to bring up. Before I get into the Q&A part of this, I'm going to lean back for a minute because my back's hurting me. What I'm wanting to know is, what is the situation? Because everything we heard from Juranović and his potential exit from the club ended up leading to nothing that was suggested. Union Berlin came out of the blue, signed him. Right? We didn't hear Union Berlin mentioned once. Not once, right? And then he goes there. Giakoumakis has been linked with every Tom, Dick and Harry. He's not left yet. I don't think there really is... I don't think there's enough there to suggest it's going to happen imminently. And also, Ange in the presser the other day was saying, at this moment in time, I don't know of any departures, I don't know about anybody coming in, and Juranović is gone. Days later. Very confused as to where everything kind of lies right now. Well, like Gus Poyet was apparently saying the ratings. I wouldn't be surprised if Giakoumakis ended up somewhere like the MLS. I really wouldn't. And I know, he's a Greece manager. Thank you for clarifying that for me. But it's weird. The last kind of week or two has been really, really weird in regards to players leaving the club. And I think that, it is obviously the media, they start up a lot of stories, a lot of non-stories, and then, we get sucked into it, and then you have to offer an opinion to it, and it kind of interest is drummed up by agents and all the rest of it. It's just been really, really weird. So, aye, that's that. Okay, brilliant. Let's finish off with a kind of Q&A segment to the stream, because why would we not? We always do that on these sorts of things, don't we? So let's finish off with a Q&A. Get your questions in. We'll go for 5 or 10 minutes. We'll try and maybe round it up to the half hour mark, maybe. And we'll take it to the half hour mark, and then we'll end the stream there, and I'll let you all get yourselves up the road and yada yada yada. Say up the road as if you're probably on the up the road already. But yeah. Right, Q&A, good Q&A. I pure shouted that right there. How much would the Liverpool... Well, I was actually, I seen that today, that apparently Liverpool... Now, by the way, Kevin Nisbet's one we've not really spoke about too much. Maybe bring that up in a moment. But I seen that today, that apparently Liverpool are interested in shipping off their backup keeper, that Kelleher, to try and bring some money in. And I was like, oh, Celtic should go in for that. I was like, yeah, Celtic should inquire. They should do it. I then found out moments later that I think Liverpool are maybe valuing him around 15, 20 million pounds, which I think is ridiculous. He's not played anywhere near enough football to suggest he's worth that. But he does look a good keeper, and honestly, I was like, perfect. That would be a good Joe Hart replacement for, because I think Joe will be on the way out in terms of, not on the way out, I don't think he's about to leave Celtic, nothing like that, but, it's 35. The time is going to come soon. I was like, well, if we get a good young keeper, we could maybe bring in Kelleher. I wouldn't mind that. I think that could be a good signing. A lot of people rave about him. I think he really deserves more of a chance, but Alisson's just so good. But I think if it's, if you're talking 15 to 20 million pounds, I ain't got it's never going to happen. Never in a million, not in a month for Sundays would we be seeing him come to Celtic. Anyway, Nisbet fourth choice, and Nisbet's been an interesting one. He's someone I would love to see him finish off this season before I gave an opinion again. There was a point in time I really wanted him at Celtic. I see Connor asking the question: Is Shankland and Nisbet realistic options? I think Nisbet far more than Shankland. I don't think Shankland's anywhere near a level of playing for Celtic. I'm not saying he's not a good player, a good goal scorer. He is. I just don't think he'd fit in this team anytime soon. I really don't. But Nisbet's an interesting one. I would like to see how he finishes the season off at Hibs, because he's done a decent job since returning. What is that, 6 goals in 8 games, I think, since returning from that very lengthy injury. He's looking all the player he once was before the injury. There's no reason why he can't be in contention as an option at Celtic, but I don't know if he's quite good enough. So we'll just have to wait and see, really. Let's see. Yes, right. Yeah, okay. Shut up, Gary. Let's see. Yeah, I suppose so. Every other team fannied about, didn't they? And Union Berlin just came in and got the job done, it seems. I'm gonna kind of go down the chat a bit. So if you really want a question, no, absolutely not. I would not take Xander Clark. No way. Not a chance. No. He's no. He was back up at Hearts for a reason. He's a good keeper. He is a good keeper. He's not a Celtic keeper. He's absolutely no. Jens, I think Jens away, so it looks like it. Look, listen, I wanted to actually talk about Moritz Jens over the weekend, because me and Kieran Old spoke about him when we were away in Eindhoven. I think it's only right if Jens go. I love Big Jens. As a human being, lovely guy. Probably the nicest player I've ever met. I think he would be up there. It's either him or Johnston anyway. But Jens might be the nicest Celtic player I've ever met. He's just a lovely, lovely guy. He loves being here. But if he's not Starfelt, Vickers, Kobayashi, they're all ahead of him. And I think that for the sake of his career, he won't want to sit there and be behind all of those guys. You know what I mean? And I think he's a good enough player. I like him. But he is just a kind of good enough option. He's never going to be in the team starting week in, week out. I did like him, but I think he's got to move on if he wants to play football. He wants to make a career out of it. He's probably going to have to move on, which is a shame. I do like him, but I think he will be heading back and then loaned out somewhere else or something like that. Let's see. Oh, was a joke? Was a joking about Xander? Better, right? Okay. Well, I can't tell what's a joke in the comments, boys. I just can't. Ross Fraser, thank you very much for the 80 pence donation. Appreciate it. And Ian, someone here all the time, just to say great show. Thank you, Ian. Very much appreciate it. You're an absolute legend, mate. Let's see, what else? You could have a cracking laugh with him at the pub. I don't think he drinks right enough. I'm sure he said that at the fan media presser. He's not a big drinker. He's more about, he's an activist, the man. He likes to, he likes to make change. He likes to, do things. He cares. He doesn't want to be on the piss all the time, which I like that. Will our transfer business be done after O, or will we bring one more in? If I was to pick anything, I think that would be it. I think O would be the last signing of the window. If we bring him in, I think that will be it. Depending, if anybody else was to leave, then maybe we kind of replace. But I think that might be it. Yeah. Well, I think that'll free kick to Darvel. Right, I'm going to go and catch the end of the game. So that's me for tonight. We're back though. We're back in business. I'm back from my holidays. I'm here. We'll be doing videos. We'll be doing everything else. So yada yada. Love that. Thank you very much. It's been a good stream. Thank you all for taking part. It'll be up to, if you've missed any of it, it will be up to watch as a video and all the rest of it. But we'll be back tomorrow to talk about all the news, video style probably. And aye. Brilliant. Thank you. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe.